Welcome to Hey Mom, We Never Prepared for This, the show where we have the tough conversations around aging and caring for a loved one. Whether you're an adult child or an aging parent or anyone caring for a loved one, this podcast is for you. I am your host, Angela Vanderpool, and each episode we dive into actionable tips, heartfelt stories, and expert guidance to support you on your journey. Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hey Mom, We Never Prepared for This. Today's episode is one I have been thinking deeply about because I know how emotional, overwhelming, and honestly life-changing the decision around senior living can feel for families. And I want to start by saying this. If you or someone you love is beginning to think about senior living, I want you to know something very important. You are not just making a housing decision. You are making a life decision. You are trying to figure out, what do I want this next chapter of life to feel like? And I think sometimes we start in the wrong places. We start with things like, how much does it cost? How big is the apartment? When do we need to make a decision? But maybe the better place to start is with this question. What kind of life do I want to live? Or what kind of life do I want my mom or dad to live during this chapter of life? Because that answer changes everything. Do we want a life filled with social connection? Do we want opportunities to continue learning and growing? Do we want fitness classes and wellness programs that keep our bodies strong and vibrant? Do we want healthy, nutritious, delicious meals prepared for us? Do we want freedom from cooking every meal, maintaining a large home, mowing lawns, or shoveling snow? Do we want transportation available so driving no longer becomes a stress or a safety concern? Do we want someone changing our linens for us, cleaning our home, and handling those daily chores so we have the energy to go out and actually enjoy our life? These are not small things. These are quality of life things. And when families begin touring communities, I think one of the most important things they can do is slow down and ask thoughtful questions, not just practical questions, but emotional and lifestyle questions. Of course, you want to ask the what is included in the monthly cost? Are meals included? What transportation services are offered? Is housekeeping included? How long are rates typically locked in? These are all really important questions, but there are deeper questions that matter just as much. Questions like, how stable is your leadership team? How long have your staff members worked here? What do you do to create meaningful connection between residents and staff? How do you get families involved? What kind of training do you provide for your teams to continue growing and innovating? How do you help residents continue living full, vibrant lives instead of just simply existing? Because here's what I know after years in this industry. The feeling of community truly matters. You can feel when a place has warmth. You can feel when people genuinely care. You can feel when staff know residents. You can feel when people belong there. And that matters so much. I recently watched the movie Remarkably Bright Creatures, and there was a part of that story that stayed with me long after the movie ended. Sally Field's character was trying to decide whether or not to move into a senior living community. And what struck me wasn't necessarily the logistics of this decision. It was the emotions underneath it. She loved her home. Every corner of it held memories for her. It represented her husband, her son, her life, her history. And throughout the movie, you could feel this fear that moving would somehow make her life smaller. Smaller space, smaller freedom, smaller identity, smaller life in general. And honestly, I think so many older adults quietly feel that way. And probably families too, because this decision is rarely about safety or care. It's about all of the emotions, the grief, identity, change, control, loss, fear, and also hope. And I think sometimes in senior living, we forget how emotional this process truly is. Families are often trying to make decisions while navigating things like maybe a recent fall, a hospitalization, memory concerns, caregiver burnout, or the loss of a spouse. And underneath all of it is a human being trying to hold on to the life that they have loved. That deserves compassion, that deserves patience, that deserves understanding. And I truly believe the best communities understand this. The best communities are not trying to make someone's life smaller. They are trying to help life become bigger again, more connected, more supported, more joyful, more meaningful, and more vibrant. So when you are touring communities, I encourage families to ask one final question. What would it take for this to truly feel like home? Maybe it's painting the bedroom your favorite color. Maybe it is bringing your favorite piece of artwork for your living room. Maybe it's having your four-legged best friend welcomed into the community as a part of the family. Or maybe it's about finding a place where your mom can continue to garden. Or maybe it's making sure your dad still has opportunities to listen to live music and attend lectures. What are the things that make it feel meaningful to you? Because those are the things that matter. And the right community should want to know those answers, not because they are trying to close a sale, but because they are trying to help someone create a life that still feels deeply like their own. I think one of the greatest misconceptions about senior living is that it is the end of something. But when done thoughtfully and intentionally, it can actually be the beginning of something big, a chapter with less stress, less isolation, more support, more connection, more freedom to focus on what matters most to you. And if you're walking through this decision right now with someone you love, I want you to know this. You do not have to have every answer today. I encourage you to slow down, ask good questions, listen deeply, lead with compassion, and remember that everyone involved is carrying a lot of emotions into this process. And at the end of the day, this is not just about where someone lives. It's about how they live. And every person deserves the opportunity to continue living a life filled with dignity, connection, joy, purpose, and belonging. Thank you so much for joining me today on Hey Mom, We Never Prepared for This. And if this episode touched you, helped you, or reminded you of someone walking this journey right now, please share it with them. We are all figuring this out together. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Thanks for tuning in to Hey Mom, We Never Prepared for This. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It really helps us reach more adult children and their aging parents and loved ones. Special thanks to our sponsor, Dharma Healthcare Management, for supporting the show. Stay tuned for more honest conversations to help you find peace, clarity, and community with others who understand what you're going through. And we'll see you next time on Hey Mom, We Never Prepared for This.